Welcome back everyone to Latam's Update channel. How was your TED holiday? As for me, honestly, I celebrated a bit too hard. The afterglow lingered a little too long, so this video is slightly later than usual. Hopefully it's still not too late to sit down and chat with you all about the intense developments in Chapter 23. Without making you wait any longer, let's jump right into it.
Don't forget to hit follow and subscribe to the X10 Manga Fresh channel if you're enjoying the ride.
In the previous chapter, Yuji and Meru were full of hope about a plan to completely eradicate cursed energy and free humanity. But at the final moment, Yuji suddenly backtracked with a conclusion that completely killed the hype. Completely eliminating cursed energy is impossible. Hearing that, Meru was stunned. So was all their discussion pointless? Yuji then explained. For a long time, people believed cursed energy was unique to the Japanese. In reality, foreigners also emit cursed energy, though in extremely small amounts. Because cursed energy overseas is so weak, it doesn't dissipate easily but instead accumulates silently. That's why, although rare, extremely powerful curses can suddenly appear anywhere in the world. Over the past 70 years since curses became public knowledge, cursed energy from around the globe has begun converging on Tokyo. Yuji pointed out that even if Japan's cursed energy were erased, for unminus origin curses would still continue to form and invade. Therefore, eliminating cursed energy in Japan is essentially unfeasible. Meru had to admit that the concept of eradication they pursue was in reality only about minimizing chaos as much as possible. Even if he altered the soul structure of the Japanese or the Simurian people to nullify cursed energy, they would eventually become like foreigners, still harboring a tiny, lingering seed of power that could never fully disappear. Humans would always emit a minuscule trace. Because of that microscopic amount, curses would continue to be born not just in Japan but worldwide. Cursed energy is like the metabolism of the soul. Only those with heavenly restriction like Maki can exist without cursed energy. For the vast majority, cursed energy is inseparable, though it can't be eradicated entirely. Under their plan, the number of curses born each year would drop to a handful, something Yuji could fully control, paving the way to rebuild Tokyo. The biggest issue, however, lies in the conflict between humans and the Rumio tribe, rooted in a catastrophic misunderstanding between curses and Kaoyan, the god they worship. Yuji explained that curses don't originally possess independent souls. They are merely containers formed from humanity's negative emotions. The problem begins when those containers are filled with soul fragments whose color and frequency strangely match Kaoyan, the deity of the Rum-El tribe. This energetic overlap creates a perfect disguise. To the Rum-El people, when they look at a curse, they see Kaoyan's aura. That's why they worship and protect them, despite the fact that those entities are destroying the outside world. And why don't Kaoyan and these curses ever attack the Rum-El people? Not because they are benevolent, but because they lack consciousness. There exists an invisible spiritual link between the Rum-El and Kaoyan. When near them, Kaoyan senses a matching frequency that nullifies its attack instinct. Because Kaoyan never harms the Rum-El, they believe it to be a guardian deity. In contrast to outsiders with different soul frequencies, Kaoyan perceives them as foreign objects and attacks out of instinctive self-minus defense. As for curses, Yuji proposed a more humane solution. Instead of extermination, he suggested classification using Tengen and Choso as examples. Whether someone is human, hybrid, or cursed does not determine good or evil. Take Lord Tengen, a true immortal who has lived for over 500 years. Though his existence has evolved close to that of a curse, he remains righteous. Or Choso, Yuji's brother minus and minus arms, a hybrid between human and curse. Though their beginning was turbulent, they ultimately found mutual understanding. If Meru could use his ability to filter out the malicious cursed energy from the soul frequency resembling Kaoyan, the conflict would naturally disappear. Meru realized that destroying existing curses was just trimming weeds. The real root was the endless cycle of souls reincarnating. Now that he understood the root cause, there had to be a solution. He called it repaint souls already formed, but he could intervene before new ones were born. Where they stood was the singular pathway every soul on Earth must pass before reincarnation. By interfering at this transit point, Meru could reshape soul branches into a molding device, stripping away their original coloration, reshaping them, and minimizing cursed energy to the greatest extent possible. It sounded extreme, but it was the only way to resolve the root of curses. It meant forcibly altering nature itself. The Cao Yan deities of the Rum El would also be affected, possibly losing power or permanently changing form. But in the end, it was the best option available, and thus X10 was returned to Dabare. Miru then apologized to Dabare for interfering in his duel with General Mahora, an act considered dishonorable for a warrior. Dabare simply smiled in response. After mastering reverse curse technique and domain expansion, Dabare had ascended to a completely different level, surpassing his former limits. Though the battle with Mahora was glossed over, his confidence spoke volumes. Had it continued, he would have been the victor. Miru contacted Dabare not only to announce a truce but to execute a rescue plan. The only way to save Dabare's sister was for him to personally escort her back to planet Simurian. With his current strength, space travel was no longer an obstacle. Dabare calmly accepted, saying he came to Earth to fulfill a promise to Dora, and now his mission had reached its end. The killing intent in his eyes was gone. He was no longer a lone war machine, but someone who had found spiritual connection with comrades. The curse from Chief Deskunti that bound him had finally faded. Dabare and his sister Ijo decided to return to Simurian to end everything. From this, we can infer our ability may be supreme intelligence, like a biological supercomputer. While others must train to learn techniques, Miru simply defines the outcome, and the technique fills in the method automatically. That makes him an unpredictable variable, someone capable of changing the laws of the world through sheer will. After settling everything, Miru parted with a promise that they would surely meet again. After seeing Dabare off, Miru immediately healed Yuka, Tsurugi, Cross, and Usami. He thanked Yuji, but as for the most important task, Miru chose to carry it out himself. They parted ways, wishing each other safety as they fulfilled their responsibilities. Miru stood alone before the vast sea of souls, trembling under the weight of responsibility. He felt unworthy to bear the sin of altering natural order. But he was not alone. In his weakest moment, his comrades grasped his hands tightly. Cross, Yuka, and Tsurugi appeared, reinforcing his resolve. Together they shouted, "Let's begin." Together, we'll carry this out. The harmonization ritual, the prayer for all souls, officially began. The conflict between the Rum El and humans gradually dissolved in the light of a new balance. Chapter 23 closed with the determination of four youths. A seemingly endless war was resolved through understanding and Mara's omnipotent technique. It makes me wonder, after training on Earth, could Dabare return and overthrow Chief Deskunti to bring the Rum El back to their home planet? But perhaps such a classic ending wouldn't carry enough bitterness to suit this story. Let's wait and see how the author resolves the final knots in the next chapter. As for our boy YUJI, the author still keeps changing his look. Could his hair have turned completely white over time, just like Goyao Sense is? What about you? Any thoughts on this chapter or theories about the ending? Leave your comments and let me know. And don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications so you don't miss any leaks from Latan's updates. For now, goodbye. Goodbye and see you in the next videos.